Commissioner Kramer, again, thank you so much for your time. So talk to us a little bit about your dream and your vision as North Miami Beach being the place where Miami's Chinatown is born.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Well, being that I grew up in the city of North Miami Beach, certainly we never had what was considered a formal Chinatown, but there's always been what we've known to be a Chinatown where we had a lot of Asian restaurants and markets and stores and to go to when we needed, those type of things. But when I became a commissioner in the city of North Miami Beach, I always knew that this was a vision I had, was to really make this a formal area, a formal district. And so we would have strategic planning sessions in the city, and my colleagues and I would discuss this, and together it became part of our strategic plan to actually make a Chinatown in the city of North Miami Beach, because where else would you do it but in a place where we have probably the highest population of Asian residents living in South Florida in North Miami Beach. It's only 3%, but it's the most. So.
Well, in a thriving, growing community, right? One of the things that we locally here in Miami have heard for years is that it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. Why does North Miami Beach seem to be the most invested in seeing this community come to fruition?
I believe because the business owners in the community want it. The residents know that we're here. We try to get the residents actually of North Miami Beach more involved, but it is the business owners. And when I do go out to dinner in various restaurants, and Chinese especially, we talk about that and they say we've been waiting 20 years. Well, I think it's been more like 30 years. And we're invested because it's already here. So it's the perfect next step to make it a district and start encouraging not just those that have already invested here with their stores and businesses and restaurants, but to encourage others to come.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for that. And so you have this dream, this vision. Obviously, you have been at the forefront of making sure that North Miami Beach is the home of the future Chinatown here in Miami. Talk to our group a little bit about some of the challenges that your commission has faced in trying to make this dream a reality. As an example, just the simple geography of it, right? Where half of the planned sort of district or neighborhood is in the city of North Miami Beach, and the other half is actually in Miami-Dade County. And talk a little bit to some of the challenges that has posed.
Well, what I'd like to also do is to bring up our Community Development Director from the City of North Miami Beach, Mr. Justin Profit, because he's going to be able to give a lot more detail than probably I can. But yes, it is something that both Miami-Dade County and the City of North Miami Beach, I think us a little bit more, but we're trying to come together because we have very zipper borders in the City of North Miami Beach, and these borders were planned a long time ago. And down this corridor of 163rd and 167th Street, there's a good part of it that is Miami-Dade County, and then the other part is the City of North Miami Beach. So the challenge is, if there are challenges, is just coming together and working together so that we both put in the same effort, the same time in encouraging these businesses to come forward. But I will let Justin answer to some of the other challenges and then talk about the different zoning and things that we want to bring forward to create this.
Sure. I'm Justin Profit. I'm the Community Development Director for North Miami Beach. I have my cards here. It has my old title on there, but that's all the same information that I have for contact. Challenges. The big challenge that we face on the corridor on both sides in our city and unincorporated, we have antiquated zoning. And we're talking about zoning that was created in the 1960s. And we're looking now to change the zoning to allow more design flexibility. We're allowing to allow less setbacks from the roadway, more pedestrian space, more open space on the properties, and a lot more density and intensity on them as well, the commercial properties. We're looking to partner with the county as well on the zoning changes. And we think the cultural and business associations that are forming to create the Chinatown, tied with the zoning and land use changes, will really be needed to make that all work.
Oh, that's fantastic, Justin. You can hold on to that.
Okay.
So, just so that everyone in the room understands why ARIA, why become a member, right? Our chapter president, our current president, our former past president, as well as Don and other members of the board have been part of the lobbying effort, part of the local voice with our North Miami Beach Commission, as well as with the county. And the city has been great to make sure that we have a seat at the table. And so for that, we're very appreciative. And your participation and your dollars go a long way to help us with that. So I just wanted to make sure that I wanted to say thank you to those that are members in the room and encourage those that are not, right? Commissioner Kramer, Justin, there's a medical center that borders the west sort of side or end of this geography. Talk a little bit to what role you think that medical center might play, both in being sort of like an anchor for the area, as well as potentially in some medical tourism.
Well, we've had some meetings with Don in the past, and we've been doing a lot of planning for the city-wide mostly. We're looking at all of our zoning districts, all the old zoning categories that we have, and how to modernize them. And the Chinatown concept, the land use changes that we're going to be doing along 167th, 163rd Street, and then the medical district. We're looking at something in the idea of a health innovation zone. And we've had some meetings on potential ideas about medical tourism. If there's investment from China or other Asian nations, how could you capitalize on that with the medical district? We're already planning a medical district, and are there other opportunities there to bring in some new investment from Asia? We think there is, and we will be also incentivizing new types of development to occur around and we're talking about the Jackson Hospital, and this is at 163rd Street, Golden Glades interchange area. So we're really taking more of a holistic look at the city. We've been doing this for about 4 or 5 years now. It's been going on a long time. The intensive changes that are that are really successful have been happening for about 4 or 5 years. You can see it just by some of the new buildings in the city. And we think the Chinatown, and we think the hospital zone, and then all the new changes that will occur along that corridor with the county's participation will really provide a lot more investment opportunities in terms of new residential density, which does not exist, in terms of higher design commercial spaces and open spaces too. So we're really looking at that.
I just want to mention, one of the guests members had spoken about, why North Miami Beach. And you have to understand where we are located, and yes, there are Chinatowns that are downtown a lot of times, and our downtown is really full, and it's continuing and growing. But this is great because we're the I-95, the corridor that takes you to the turnpike, to I-95, to the beaches, between the two airports. Biscayne Boulevard is accessible. By Collins Avenue, we're accessible. So it's really a perfectly placed, being in between both Miami and Fort Lauderdale. Such a great area, I think, to enhance, to grow this area. And I think, again, with the proper members and the investors, we want to see this grow organically. We're not looking to make this, just so you know, a kitschy Chinatown. We understand it's new, it's not from the past like New York and Boston and San Francisco, but, it is gonna start growing from here on out, and we want it to be very modern, but to be, what what Hong Kong probably is today, and certain just a very modern, trendy but sophisticated and an interesting Chinatown district in South Florida.
That's fantastic. You mentioned transportation and the absolutely perfect location that the city of North Miami Beach provides for that. Talk a little bit about the role of public transportation, the Virgin train, am I saying that right? Where is she? She's
Bright line.
It was Bright
It's
Line.
Line, but now it's very
It's Virgin, right? I didn't want to. Oh, on track. Okay. What role might that play in seeing this community grow even faster?
The transportation will be leading the transit-oriented development, that concept in planning and zoning and community development, that will be leading our efforts. You drive around the area, it's very congested. So whatever we do from now on in our city, it has to be transit-oriented, meaning you need to be building your density and your intensity near transit stations. So I'll give you an idea of what's happening. On the west side of our city, which is the Golden Glades interchange, the county and the state are rebuilding the Tri-Rail station. It will now become a multimodal center. It will have Tri-Rail connections, bus connections, and city shuttle connections, among many other things as well. That's being rebuilt right now. And so that's on the west end of our Chinatown area and this new zoning area. As you go further east, you'll see a mixed-use zoning and a health innovation zone with probably mixed-use zoning with maybe zoning incentives for medical businesses. We have to determine what that will mean. And then going east on the corridor, you have the old 163rd Street Mall, which has a transfer and a large bus facility, which will become probably more important as we go on in the future. And then further east of that, we have identified through the county, the state, and Virgin, and all the other agencies, we're working together on identifying a stop somewhere between 163rd Street and 151st Street. And it might not be Virgin, but it might be an outgrowth of that, or a transit, quasi-public transit agency that manages that. That's being planned right as we speak. But Virgin probably controls some of that decision making, and that they're getting their company in order first. But all of those areas will be changing to allow for more intensity because they're on the transit corridors, right? So you got train, you got bus, and then you've got the nodes and the connections in between all of these. And that's where we want the future growth of the city to occur. And that's where the Chinatown will fit in on top of all of that. You'll have a better design flexibility. You'll have more incentives to do some innovative designs where you don't have that right now. You just have a shopping center type stuff. So all of this is now starting to come together. And transportation is a major component of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. I have one more question, and then we're going to take a couple of questions from the audience. You guys hang tight. What businesses, does the city hope to attract with this potential new Chinatown district?
Well, I think we're talking about medical tourism. We're talking about healthcare companies. I think we're talking a restaurant district for sure. We've got that existing right now. What do we have? I think about 50 to 60 restaurants, Asian restaurants.
47.
Yeah, and it fluctuates every year. And then we've got some medical businesses east of the hospital zone. And so we're looking to work on what we have and also think about what we can incentivize in the future. And the different markets. We have the iFresh market opening up now. And
In October. It's the biggest Asian market in Florida right now. It's up in the north and it's gonna open. I was there yesterday and it's October. It was supposed to open in January, but then they keep delaying.
yeah.
But it's in October for sure.
Right, and there's many other markets there now, and what's also happening we're a very diverse city. So in addition to the Asian population, we have a large Orthodox community, and they have a lot of businesses that relate to the community. Latino community, Haitian community. We really have a lot of potential to create in addition to a Chinatown, an international district in a sense. Yeah, because we have it all on this corridor. It's pretty amazing.
And, yeah, and that's one of the things is that, you know, again, organically this international, because what starts as one, everyone's gonna wanna join in. But we really, you know, we had talked about during these strategic planning sessions about this international district. But, you know, I feel that we really should start with Chinatown, Miami, because I really think that that's where it needs to start. And then if others come around, the little smaller districts on each side, just like you have Little Italy in New York, although it's really getting taken over, I think Chinatown is gonna be even bigger than it is now. But, you know, that will all grow possibly, maybe not. I mean, it's up to other groups and other investors and different cultures to come in and do that if they want. We're here, we're ready to bring this to our area because I think it's really important. South Florida needs this.
That's fantastic. Thank you guys so much. So we have time for just a couple of very quick questions. Go ahead.
Do your plans on traffic include futuristic sustainable means of transportation such as self-driving cars and flying vehicles?
That's a good question. So let me repeat it. So are we planning for self-driving cars and flying vehicles and the new technologies? Okay. I don't know about self-driving cars yet or flying vehicles, but we are going to be looking at how to accommodate the Ubers and the Lyfts of the world, which probably will eventually be autonomous. At least that's my understanding of where they want to go.
They are already.
Right, exactly. So what we're looking at is and when we create our zoning and then when we get a site plan for a property, are they making accommodations for those businesses on their site? Because we don't want backups of cars, you know, 18 Lyft cars or 18 Uber cars that are developed, right? So we are going to be looking at things like that, which I think will address that. Now, will the roadways be dedicated to those types of? We're not there yet, I don't think.
We don't need roads for flying cars.
Well, not flying cars, and I suppose you can. I think Miami has one that's coming on a building sometime soon.
Paramount.
Yeah.
Working on
So-
the permits. It's not done with permits.
Yeah. So I don't know the answer to that yet.
Yeah.
But we have to look into
Discuss that
that.
more.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
One question. What streets are you proposing to build this Chinatown? And the second question is, and I'm a native Miamian, by the way, what's going to be done about the crime problem in that area, North Miami Beach? Because I have worked for real estate firms there, and that's a problem. How have you addressed that issue?
Streets, we don't have an exact street yet, but we're looking generally in the area on 167th Street from the hospital area east to about 6th Avenue, where the old Toys R Us property, that large shopping center. And then we've also talked with the county on the other side on what they could do as well. Crime, I'm the community development director, but I mean, I'll tell you this from the business that I do. When you see redevelopment occur, and when you see areas changing, and when you see new developments come in, you also see, typically you also see a change in crime rates. Because you're getting investment, you're getting eyes in the area, you're getting nightlife, you're getting daytime activities, where that might not be occurring right now. And you're also improving the appearance and the aesthetics of the area as well. And that generally changes crime patterns, in my experience.
You need to see more police presence.
And of course, yeah, and that will occur as well.
I can help with that one if you want to know. Like I work in the committee, and my job now, I'm going to some of the restaurants and getting at least 6 signatures from people, and we are about to implement a police department to work after night hours. So they will be located in the hotel at the beginning of Chinatown in front of the medical center, the Jackson Medical. So that's something that we're working with Nick and all the committees. So very soon we will have more police reinforced, right?
And that's probably, don't forget, you could be talking about the county. So it's not just our jurisdiction. So the city of North Miami Beach, we're in budget mode right now, and we are hiring more police, and we are bringing up, you know, the amount of police that we want to have in our area to make it more secure. But absolutely 100%, I don't have the statistics with me, but our crime has gone way down in the last many years. So we're incredibly proud of that. As we move forward, we are bringing that crime down. We have an amazing police department, so we are working on that, yes.
Awesome. Hey, so we're hopeful. I don't want to infringe on their schedule, but if either one of both of you could stay, I'm sure we have lots more questions. And you two are sort of quasi-stars of our show. We do have a small token of our appreciation for not just your appearance here today, but for what you're doing to further the Chinatown vision and dream. We would like to make both of you honorary members of the ARIA Greater Miami chapter. J.C. Caceres, our local president, is going to